How's it going, Scrub Gamers? It's your boy Scrub Games coming at you with a juicy new piece of content for you to enjoy. But before we do get into the topic of the video, I just want to let you know how you can help support the channel, and that is by checking out Firestorm Games using my affiliate link in the description box below. Because Firestorm Games offer a whole host of products for almost every kind of hobby there is, be it Dragon Ball Super, Pokemon, One Piece, you name it, and they'll likely have it, and at some quality prices too. So just make sure to click the link below and check them out to see the whole host of products they offer while helping support the channel. And also, remember, there's another way to help out the channel, and that's by dropping a like, leaving a comment on the video, and best of all, hitting that subscribe button to keep up to date with my content when it drops. Because I'm still on the road to 1k subs, and looking to hit that by the year's end. But now we've got all that sorted, let's dive into the topic of the video. Right, so as the name of the video suggests, we're going into the second of the blue decks, this being a little review going over the Janemba deck coming out in set 22 Critical Blow, and this one looks pretty interesting. Like, it doesn't look as great as some of the other decks from like first glance, but we've really not had a great Janemba deck since the mill one, really. Like, none of the other ones have been great. Like, the critical one has been fun, but hasn't got much support to actually help it. It's got little bits, but never anything good enough to help it out. No revamp, no any Z support for it. And then you get more support for the one from set 12, which is just terrible. And they keep supporting it, but then it's always very lackluster support that doesn't actually do well for what the deck's trying to do, which is nothing, because there's other decks that do a lot better. So Bandai have kind of gone for a kind of like I think this might be a fourth try. So I think that's it. Like, we had three before. This is the fourth Janemba deck, and this one looks a little bit more interesting and could be a more aggressive deck than the other one. So let's have a look at it and see how we're gonna rate it, though. So let's have a little review of it. So it starts off as Janemba, the chubby one, before it goes into the anger issues one. So Janemba, 3 autos, first one being the one we've seen back, well, since set 2, which is starting off with a fill card in play. So when this card is placed in the leader area, activate it to 1 barrier round check-in station from your deck. So this is the first one we're seeing from the set that has a fill card attached to it to do some stuff, and we'll see what that does in a sec, but we'll go with the leader first, both sides. And then the second auto is how you can gain some advantage, which is when this card attacks, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, and up to 1 blue Janemba card to your hand and shuffle your deck. So it's any blue Janemba card, there's a good variety, any blue Janemba card, so you shouldn't whiff, there's a chance to whiff if you don't see any Janembas. So that's one negative side about the search. Like, you got the benefits and the negatives from the effects like that. Like, when it's just a draw, you're guaranteed to gain advantage because you're just drawing a card, so you're never going to whiff, but you get less options because you're just drawing the top card of your deck. That's it, you're just drawing a card. You're not getting anything you might need or have any options. You're just drawing a card, that's it. Whatever you draw is what you get. But search ones like that, like look at the top 5 like this, to the Janemba, you've got more options to find ones like you want. Like, you could be after a specific card, and you've got more options looking at 5 cards rather than just 1. But there's a chance you can whiff by not hitting any targets for that effect, which feels bad when you miss it like that. So, decent effect, but not, like, it depends really. And then the last also is if it's your opponent's turn, when your blue Janemba with an energy cost of 2 or more is removed from the battle area by a skill or code, draw 2 cards, add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 life left, and flip this card over. So there are ways to trigger this, we'll see that in a bit as we go through the cards. And it's just by any skill, so it's by any skill or code. So if your opponent doesn't remove it and you remove it by a skill during your opponent's turn, then you can trigger this. So it's a nice way to alternatively awaken in the auto. But if you don't want to do that, then the awaken is when you last 4 or less, draw 2 cards, flip over. So we're almost halfway through the set reviewing the deck, like 5 decks technically, and even the Goji. No, was the Goji one? Yeah, like all 4 of the main set for both red decks from the main set and both blue decks, their awaken are drawing 2. So there's a lot more defensive awakens where you're drawing cards and not getting any extra energy, which is quite interesting. It's Very defensive set so far. But that's Janemba, so when you do flip over, you then become Janemba Silent Demon, brandishing his sword ready, doing a little pose. And now you have two autos. So the first one is when this card attacks, look at top five cards of your deck, add up to one blue Janemba card from your hand and shuffle your deck. So exact same as the one on the front side, no guaranteed draw, but then a better broad search, looking at top 5 for any Janemba card, but then also still the potential to whiff. And you have another way to gain advantage and gain more cards as well, which seems like most of the decks are having 2 effects to gain your cards, which is quite cool. And this one is an auto once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn, so that's a requirement, it has to be on your opponent's turn, is only once a turn. When one of your blue Z extra cards, when your blue Z extras is placed in the battle area, draw one card and switch it to one of your mono blue energy to active mode. So during your opponent's turn, when you play a Z extra, which we'll see in a bit how you can do that, you get to draw and untap. Draw and untap is really nice. Get that free energy and free draw is pretty cool. And some of these extras are quite interesting as well, so as we'll get to see. So that's the leader, front and back. No Z lead for this one. As not every deck gets a Z lead, not all decks have got a Z lead since this block started. Some do, some just have some Z battle cards. And we'll have a look at what the field card does now, because remember, this deck does play a field card when it's played. And that is Barrier Checkered Station. So it's a 6 cost field card with barriers, that's good. It is always nice when you get decks that start with a field card, having that field card have a barrier, have protection, and to stop it from just some colors being able to just pop the field card and ruin your strategy because you rely on the field. It also has a permanent, which makes it so you can't play black battle cards, so you just can't play it. Overall, you can't play Overrun, you can't play the tech cards like the Dende and stuff like that. So that's a harsh restriction, but then you can choose not to play it. I'm not sure how much benefit you'll get from not playing it, having access to black cards, or if losing black cards is not that bad. But we got a fair few of these decks like this now where it restricts you from playing a core thing, like being able to play a certain color of cards, being able to play a certain mechanic like overrun, stuff like that. So some decks get this to kind of hinder them a bit, and sometimes it's a bit over hindering. But it does have an activate main / battle, which is not once per turn, it's just paying 1 blue. If your leader is a Janemba Silent Demon and you have a blue Z extra in your battle area, play up to 1 blue Janemba card with original entry cost of 6 from your hand. So yeah, just by paying 1 blue, having this leader awakened and a blue Z extra in your battle area, just for 1 energy, play a 6-drop Janemba from your hand. That's pretty cool. You can actually swarm in the field quite a few of them, depending how consistently you can find them and just drop them. So we will have a look at what some of these 6 costs do. But first, we'll have a look at some of the Z cards. So first one, this deck gets a Z battle card. So it's a 2 cost, 15k, that requires 2 Z energy. It's unique, so you can only have 1 on the board at a given time. And it's a permanent, which is if your leader is blue and you have a blue Z extra in your battle area, you reduce the energy cost of this card in your Z deck by 1 blue and reduce the Z energy cost by 1, so making it a 1/1, 1 cost, 1 Z energy, 15k blue battle card you can play, so that's quite nice. And you have to do is get a Z extra out, which is going to be very easy. So you've got 2 autos on it, which is first one is when this card's played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards when it costs 3 or less, place it at the bottom of his owner's deck. So you're bottom decking a card, but you've got a small pool of what you hit, which is a 3 cost or less. And sometimes when we have 3 cost or less or weenies like this, they sometimes have protection like barrier and stuff like that to keep them around. So I'm not sure how relevant this is going to be effect, but it's there if you need be. Could be a good tech, and yeah, if we get some more generic blue Z extras, you can probably play this in any blue deck if you want to. Then we've got the Ever Auto, which one's per turn. If you have 4 more energy, is the cost. When one of you or your opponent's battle cards is placed at the bottom of his owner's deck, switch it to one of your energy active mode at the end of the turn. So if you drop this around about turn 4 and get off the first auto, you get to untap an energy at the end of the turn. Or if you just have this on board and then you bottom deck one of your opponent's battle cards, in turn you get an energy. And it's not either player's turn, it could be on your opponent's turn or your turn, trigger this to get this out, but not sure without kind of protection, this card's going to stick around for long. Even then it gets swung over to just 50k. Then we move on to the Z extras, because that's all that's left for the extra deck stuff of this blue set. And you got a fair few for Janemba to make use of these Z extras, so you can fill up your Z deck with them. So the first one is Demonic Blade, and I think all of them are 1 cost and 1 Z extra. Yeah, Z energy, so they're all 1/1. And it all got an activate main / battle skill. And for this one, it's a limit 1, where if your leader is a Janemba card, you have a blue Janemba card with entry cost of 6 or more in play, and you remove this card from the game. Place up to 1 Dimensional Hole or Lightning Shower Rain from your Z deck in the battle area. Choose all of your blue Janemba cards with energy cost of 6 or more, and those cards get 5k power for the turn. So that's quite cool. You remove this to play out a different, well, as long as you've got 6 costs or more Janemba card at play, you can remove this card from the game to play one of the other Z extras you can have in your Z deck, and then give all your Janemba cards with energy cost 6 or more a 5k boost for the turn. So if you swarm the board with a load of 6 costs, in your turn you can just go, okay, give them all a 5k boost, which is quite cool. Then we got the next one being Dimensional Hole, so same cost, same kind of effect, being activate main / battle, limit 1. If your leader is a Janemba card and you have a blue Janemba with energy cost of 6 or more in play, and you remove this card from the game, so I think the cost on all of them, all their activate main / battle effects are going to be the same, but the result's going to be different. So the result from paying that cost is you get to place up to 1 Demonic Blade or Shower Rain or Lightning Shower Rain from your Z deck in your battle area, so you always get to replace it with a new one from the Z deck. Then choose up to 1 keyword skill on your opponent's battle cards. Negate the skill for the turn, then choose up to 1 of your blue Janemba cards, and that gains that skill until the end of the turn. And just any of your blue Janemba cards, so it doesn't specify battle card or anything, so you can give it to your leader if you want to. That's quite cool. Being able to take Quad Strike off one of your opponent's cards and give it to your leader is pretty interesting, pretty funny. So that is Dimensional Hole. Now we've got Lightning Shower Rain. So this is the next one. Same cost, activate main / battle, limit 1, same cost of play for the effect, but the effect is place up to 1 Demonic Blade or Dimension Hole from your Z deck in the battle area, then choose up to 1 of your blue Janemba battle cards to switch to active mode. So it's quite cool. So you can make extra use of if you use one to block, because I think there is a blocker one we'll see in a bit. Or if you want to get an extra attack in, you can use this to get switch to active mode to get another attack in, which is quite cool. So you can only do this once a turn because it's limit 1, so you can use this to bring out one of the other 2 and use the other one to bring out this again, but you can't use this effect again in the same turn. But making good use of getting an extra swing out of one or an extra block out of one is pretty cool. And it's just any blue Janemba battle card. So it doesn't have to be a 6 cost, it could be a 8 cost, it could be a lower cost, but just any blue Janemba battle card. That's quite nice. So that's all for the Z deck for this deck. So we move on to the battle cards to see what some of these 6 costs do. So the first one is a big boss card, being the SR, and an 8 cost, so not a 6 cost, unfortunately. And that is Janemba DBS Trickster. So an 8 cost 25k with critical and blocker, also 0 cost 5k combos. Nice to have that on some boss cards, unless it's a multicolor one. Multicolors, they should have the 1 cost combo, because otherwise they're just a bit unfair to be able to come out for free and have permanents to kind of reduce it for certain decks. But it's got it's got 1 auto and 2 activate main / battle, and only 1's limited once per turn. So the auto is if you have a blue Z extra in your battle area as the requirement. When this card is played, you can't be removed from your battle area by opponent's skills for the turn, so nice little bit of protection from any skills, but it can still be negged down to 0 by red, so that's always going to be a case for most of them. And then you got the activate main / battle for limit 1 for 2 blue. If your leader is a blue Janemba card, and you have 4 more energy, as the cost, play this card from your hand. So you get to play it either during your turn or your opponent's turn, which is quite cool because it's main / battle, and you get just 2 blue, slam this down. When you do slam it down, using this effect on your opponent's turn, you won't be able to block with it because the block window would have been passed, but any attacks after that you can then use it to block. And then coming to that block, you can get quite a good effect out of this with the activate main / battle is once per turn. Switch this card active mode, so you can get 2 crit swings out of it for 2 energy, which is pretty nice. That's really good. Or you can get 2 blocks out of it as well. It's kind of restricted to a Janemba deck, except you can't play 5 costs or more in that deck, even though people have tried. And it's a pretty nice card. Like having that protection to make it can't be moved from battle area by opponent's skills for the turn means you can bring it your opponent's turn, and then they can't really get rid of it unless they're red and can neg it. And then you can then at your turn use it to block twice, as long as you can combo out of it, and then use it to be aggressive in your opponent's turn. That's pretty cool. It also, seen as boss card for the deck, it does get a nice little SPR. Looks quite cool. Could be better, but still it's quite nice. Probably looks better in person as well. Like we've seen with a fair few of these ones, because normally when it's flat image, it doesn't always look the best, but in person it could be a lot better. Then we move to the 6 cost ones. So the first one we've got is Janemba Blinding Fury Attack. So this is a 6 cost 19k with 0 cost 5k combo. I think most of them are 19k, so that way you can kind of go neg and it's not too aggressive. And it's got an auto limit 1. When this card is played, play up to 1 Blue Janemba with entry cost of 2 from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So when it's got these kind of brackets, it's looking for... I think this is not looking for the character. I think it's looking for the name of the card, so it should be a Janemba skill as you get. But the nice thing about that, if by getting a 2-cost Janemba skillless, is it kind of ties in with the little bit of support, Janemba support you can run with it from set 12, and it's more the limited support that I thought was too good, because that time it was, but it seems weird to still have that one, the Janemba one limited, but the Piccolo banned, because they kind of do the same thing as easy as. They're both quite as easy as the other. So this one get you out of skillless. Then we got Janemba Unapproachable Power. So this one, same kind of stats all around, apart from it's got different auto, still limit 1 though, which is when this card is played, it gets 5k power and critical for the turn. So it comes to 24k critical for the turn when you drop this one. So, but you can only do it once a turn to get critical, and then after that it's gone, and you can try to do another one next turn. But that's to keep the crit pressure on it, which is quite cool. Then you've got Janemba Unexpected Appearance, same stats, but this one has blocker, and its auto, which is also limit 1, is if it's your turn, as a requirement, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of his opponent's deck. So that's quite cool, just free. Well, you do have to pay one to play this out from the Z extra, the fill card, but you get to essentially just play it out as a 90k attacker, and then bottom deck any one of your opponent's battle cards. There's no cost restriction, but it doesn't go for a barrier, but still it's doing what blue should be doing, which is bottom decking cards not bouncing about the hand. That's quite cool. Then we move off to 6 costs, so there's only 3 in the main set. There is another one which you see near the end. So there's some 2-cost Janembas, and we got the Janemba Innocent Precursor. So this one's a 2-cost with deflect and blocker. It also has a permanent that reduces the cost, being if your leader is a blue Janemba card and you have 2 or more energy, you reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 1, so when it is on the board it is a 2-cost, so it's only reduced in the hand. And you're going to have one of these and another one, because as I said, most decks get a searcher and a cantrip for the archetype, and this Janemba is the cantrip because his first auto is when this card is played, draw 1 card. Then you also got another good auto on it, which is at the end of your opponent's turn. You may place this card in its owner's drop. So remember, that helps trigger your leader's awakening condition to be able to, flip over by just on turn 2, play this down, get the draw, have it there, block if you want to kind of have that way as well to trigger. And if you don't attack, you just end the turn, send the drop, and trigger your leader to flip over. Then we have the other one. So this is one that's exactly the same, just has got a different auto, which is when this card is played, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add it to 1 blue Janemba card to your hand and shuffle your deck. So same thing as the leader does, but remember, the other one was a cantrip, this one's a searcher one. It's exactly the same stats and effects, just different name, precursor to a devil, and art. And also being a searcher, so the cantrip. Then we've got the skills Janemba, so you get another skills Janemba with the set. I think we've already got 1. I think we got 2, but this is the second skillless one. So you have one in the set to actually use for that if you want to do pre-release and stuff like that. And then we've got a Psyche Demon as well, which is Neglect of Duty. So this is a 1-cost, 1k. Also, when this card is played, look at the 5 cards from your deck, add a blue Janemba card to your hand and shuffle your deck. So pretty decent turn 1 play, the same as what your leader does, like that. And then you've got the activate main, limit 1 for 1 blue. Play up to 1 blue Janemba with entry cost 2 from your hand on top of this card. I don't see why you want to do that. I mean, this is a skillless, but you can play a skillless for free off one of the 6 drops. And the other ones you can just still pay 1 once you got the past turn 2. So you're going to be paying 1 turn 1 probably for this to get the auto to search for Janemba. Then you're not going to want to pay this pay 1 to play Janemba on top of this, because then you're losing a card underneath for never Janemba when you could just have this there and a Janemba 2 cost to then still have this combat power or something like that. So that main seems a bit pointless. But yeah, it's there for some reason. Don't know why. Cause I think it only refers to the skillless one, but then you can just play it for free off a 6-drop, which is play it out. So same cost, but you get 2 attackers. You get the skillless out without losing this card, and you can plus play Janemba, which then gets 2 attackers out. It seems pointless stuff. I don't know why it's even there. And then we've got the last card being the TP. So this deck gets a bit of support in the TP, being a never 6 cost, being Janemba Moment of Truth. And same stats the other 6 costs, but then its auto is a little bit different, being limit 1 like the rest. You need to pay 1, and then when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with entry cost of 6 or less and place it at the bottom of its deck. So another one that bottom decks, but it doesn't have blocker. You have to pay 1, and it bottom decks anything 6 cost or less. I can't remember what the F1 bottom decks. So yeah, I don't really know what the difference is. This one has a restriction on what it can bottom deck, being 6 or less, and you need to pay 1, so you're paying 2 essentially to do this. With the other one, I think it's just the 1 to play it. So I don't know. Doesn't seem amazing, but you've already got bottom decking out. I don't know if the other one was a lower restriction, like a more restrictive, and being like less cost to you can choose, but yeah, you got that. So that is all the Janemba deck. This one doesn't look as great as the other one. It can still be quite aggressive, quite cool, but I'd say a 3 out of 5. Well, yeah, like out of 1 being like tier 1, 5 being trash, it could be a 3. It's kind of it's a decent deck. It's not anything more amazing than most of the blue decks, so yeah, there's that. But then it is quite a good deck, and potentially more support. If it worked out a little bit more, it could be quite a good aggressive blue deck, because we have seen with some decks where people don't really test multiple decks. They just see the best decks, play the best decks, don't really apart from some of the top players, like investigate and try out different things to actually see what's better, which is probably going to be the case for this one. People are going to see every blue decks, play this, not even try it, to see how well it can do. So there's that. But yep, that is it for this one. So we've covered all the Janemba decks. That's all the blue decks done. The red deck's done. So next one we're going to move on to green, one of my favourite colours in the game, and we'll be starting off with the Brotem being the green Goten deck. So if you want to see that, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and check out the next one in a bit. So bye for now.